Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video game video for a change, and I'm going to be going through all of my PlayStation 3 games that I have physical copies of, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of my favorites, memories that I have, all kinds of stuff. PS3 is one of my favorite consoles. I've had really great times with the PS2, PS3, and PS4. I think my favorite PlayStation console of all time might be the PS2. I'm still undecided about that because I've had a really good time with the PS4. But I thought I would start with the PS3. I've got, I think it's 20 games in my collection. Physically, I don't remember what games I might have bought digitally. I remember getting Final Fantasy IX digitally on PS3. But let's just go through what I have here in this stack next to me. So the very first game on this stack is The Elder Scrolls Skyrim Legendary Edition. But anyways, I've got this nice little special edition with a box that slides out here. And I actually had Skyrim originally in just a regular edition, and then I bought it again in Legendary Edition. I'm not sure what happened to my original copy of Skyrim. I think I lent it to somebody and they still have it. So anyway, at least I've got my Legendary Edition. It comes with the DLCs Dawnguard, Hearthfire, and Dragonborn. I have played Skyrim so many times and made so many different characters. I'm sure all of my other Skyrim lovers out there have the exact same story. They played it a million times, tried a million different builds and characters and all of that. Anyway, Skyrim is one of the best video games of all time, I think, and definitely one of my favorites on the PS3 console. My next game that I have is Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch. This game I had so much fun with. It reminded me a lot of Pokemon because a huge aspect of the game is collecting and training monsters to use in battle. And there's a huge variety of monsters that you can capture that all have different moves and specializations and everything. My computer is dying, so I'm gonna have to make a little cut here, grab the charger. But anyways, Ni no Kuni, really awesome game. You can also get it on PlayStation 4 and I believe also on Nintendo Switch if you want to check that one out. Okay, computer is charged or plugged in and charging, and we can continue. The next games that I have here are Demon's Souls and Dark Souls. I need to make a confession, and I hope I don't get too much hate for this. I did not finish Demon's Souls, and I have not yet actually played Dark Souls. I think you need to be a certain type of gamer to really enjoy these games. I think they can be very hit or miss, and unfortunately, my first time playing through, I felt like it was a miss for me. I don't think these games are really for me. Not that they were too difficult, I just couldn't really get into them. I don't know. I just found myself a little bit bored. So maybe I need to give them another try. I don't know. I know they're very, very loved games, but at least I have these copies here if I ever feel like trying to tackle them again and seeing if I can get into them and see what all this hype is about. Next game that I have is Murdered Soul Suspect. I don't know how popular this game is. I never really hear anybody talking about it. I got this as a gift and didn't really know what to expect. It's not a bad game. It's pretty interesting. You play as a detective. You have almost like supernatural powers. I don't want to spoil the plot too much, but basically you are able to see, to investigate things in kind of like in a realm between life and death, and see what has happened to people who have died, and your role in this game is to investigate mysterious deaths and try to figure out what is going on in the larger plot. And I thought it was pretty interesting mechanics. I did finish this game, and I've only played it once, but I thought it was interesting. If that sounds cool to you, maybe you should check it out. It's probably really cheap. Apparently it's by Square Enix. I didn't realize that. Anyways, the next game is Little Big Planet 2. I also did not really finish this one. It was really adorable and I liked it and everything. I think I just had so many games that I really loved on PlayStation 3 that I played all the time, and so unfortunately I have some unfinished games in this stack that I've been meaning to go back to, such as the next game, the God of War Collection. This one has God of War 1 and 2, and I have not finished it. I played a lot of God of War 1, but I didn't finish it, and I still haven't played 2. I have played God of War on PS4, or God of War 4, I think people call it. Awesome game, one of my favorite games on the PS4. I loved it, and so I definitely would like to check these games out eventually. I just, like so many other gamers, I have a backlog of games and I just can't really get around to, especially the ones on the older consoles. I tend to like prioritize games on PS4 before any of these, so I just have not gotten around to it. Hopefully eventually I will, because I really would like to see the rest of the God of War story, especially if they come out with another one, maybe on the PS5, which should be coming out pretty soon. I watched the PS5 event the other day, and we did not get a release date, but I'm sure we will be getting it before the end of the year, and maybe we'll be getting another God of War game. And then if we do, then I will make it a point to play these and finish these. And I don't have God of War 3, but maybe I could even like buy it digitally and play through that one. Anyways, next we've got the Bioshock Collection. It has Bioshock 1 and 2. I have played these and I really enjoyed them. I have to say I preferred Bioshock 1. It's one of my favorite games on PS3. And Bioshock 2 was a little bit different. I didn't dislike it like some people, but I just preferred the atmosphere and the gameplay and everything of Bioshock 1. So that's that one. Next I've got Destiny, and also the Taken King edition of Destiny. I played so much Destiny 1. I played the heck out of it, and then I bought the Taken King when it came out, and it has all the expansions on it. And I also played the heck out of this one. I really loved it, and eventually it kind of just got to a point where I was all Destinied out, and then Destiny 2 came out. I bought that one, and I felt like it wasn't as good as Destiny 1. Eventually, when I do like a more of my game collection, I'll show you Destiny 2, and I'll talk a little bit more about that one. But I really did love Destiny 1. I played it so much. I had a character for each of the classes, Titan, Hunter, and Warlock. I definitely played my Hunter the most. That was the first character I ever made, and it's definitely the character that I prefer. Moving on, next I have Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls Ultimate Evil Edition. This one I had a lot of fun with. It was actually really, I have never played any other Diablo game, but this one was really interesting. I know they came out with, or they're coming out with another Diablo. I'm not completely sure what that one's all about. I remember seeing like a trailer or something, or a feature or something. I don't remember. But this one was really fun. I had a lot of fun with it, and I believe this has the game and then like DLC, or I don't remember. Yeah, bonus also includes Diablo 3 original game. And I played all of it. I had a really fun time with it. Next, I have one of my favorite PS3 franchises. I've got, let me put them in order here. Borderlands 1, 2, and the pre-sequel. I played a ton of Borderlands 2. It was the first Borderlands that I played, and I had so much fun with it. Especially with the Siren Maya, she was my favorite character. I played it several times with different characters, different builds. And then I played Borderlands. I bought the Game of the Year edition with all the DLC. I really like this one too, actually. Had a really great time with it. Thought it was great. I loved these characters as well. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, I have to say, of the three of them, is my least favorite. It was awesome. You know, I mean, Borderlands is an awesome franchise. I really enjoyed my playthrough, but I felt like it just didn't have. It was lacking something. It was missing some of the magic of playing Borderlands 2 for the first time. It was just an awesome experience. And when I played this one, I don't know if it was the addition of like the oxygen mechanics and all of that. Something just felt different to me, and I just couldn't get into it as much. I only played through it like twice, I think. But while I played these multiple times. But Borderlands is still one of my favorite franchises. Then I've got a couple Final Fantasy games. I've got the HD remaster for Final Fantasy X and X-2, and then I've got Final Fantasy 13. I can talk more about this when I talk about my PS2 collection, because I originally played both of these on PS2. But the HD remaster is pretty awesome. Also, I replayed it on PS3. And Final Fantasy X is my absolute favorite Final Fantasy of all time. I've played a lot of the Final Fantasies, and I like 10 the most. So obviously loved this one also. Final Fantasy 13, I know it has a really bad rep. I personally like this game. You know, I didn't think it sucked that, you know, the way that people describe it. I mean, yeah, it certainly wasn't the best Final Fantasy. It was very linear. You know, I get a lot of the complaints that people had with it, but it had amazing music. It had amazing gameplay. I liked the battle system, and I really enjoyed my playthrough. I thought it was beautiful. Oh my gosh, it has some of the most beautiful graphics in the Final Fantasy series, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, certainly not my favorite, but certainly not a bad game. And I think it gets a really bad rep, and I don't really understand why. The next game that I have is Saints Row 4. This is the only Saints Row that I have played myself, and I had so much fun with this game. This is such a crazy game. It's like chaotic, and you're like you're the president of the United States, and you're fighting against aliens, and you've got all these crazy weapons, and the dialogue is hilarious, and it almost reminded me of like Borderlands humor. But yeah, I just loved this game. It was really, really fun to play, like, especially once you unlock more of your powers and everything. I might check out other Saints Row games. I don't know. I know this one also had like DLC, and I haven't played that yet either. Maybe I'll check out more of the Saints Row series if I ever get a chance to, like all the other games that I still need to play that I actually own. Anyway, moving on. The next game that I have is The Last of Us. This game is one of the best games that I've ever played story-wise. Gotta be honest, the gameplay itself wasn't always my thing. I found myself having to push through some of the combat parts because, I don't know, maybe I just sucked at it. Like, I felt like I had a hard time with it. It was like a really hard game for me. Maybe I should have turned down the difficulty or something, but I felt like I was just kind of slogging through the battle, like the combat parts, just to get to the incredible story. If you get a chance and you have not played this game, The Last of Us 2 is coming out next week. Definitely gonna get that game. I might not get it at launch, but I will be getting it as soon as I can. And I have not been spoiled for The Last of Us 2, so I'm really looking forward. I know a lot of people saw spoilers and were like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna play this after all. I don't know what those spoilers were, and I don't want to know. But I don't see what it could have been to... I'm definitely going to play the game. I want to see what happens. I want to see Ellie's story play out. And Joel's story also, because this was one of the best games I've ever played narratively. It just has one of the best stories ever in a video game. It was like watching a movie, you know? And I might end up just playing on like the easiest difficulty when I get The Last of Us 2, just because I really just want to experience this story as quickly as I can and, you know, just kind of breeze through the combat portions. So that's that. Just a couple more games here. Next, I have Atelier Shally, Alchemists of the Dusk Sea. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce Atelier, I'm not sure. But anyway, this game, I had seen the Atelier games before, and I never knew what they were or what they involved. And I decided to pick this up because I just thought that the cover was so cute, the girls. And the gameplay is really fun also. It's an RPG. You play as an alchemist who needs to deal with, well, there's actually two characters and they each have their own story. But basically they need to save their town or their world, and the combat is really fun. It's very typical RPG. You can make different choices. I played each of the storylines. I played both of the girls, and I think I preferred Charlotte's storyline, the girl with the green hair. Yeah, there's a lot of synthesizing, a lot of, since you play an alchemist, you know, there's a lot of crafting and that sort of thing. And lots of side quests. It's a great JRPG. I would recommend, and may check out other Atelier games. I don't know. I have seen them around. I just haven't ever tried any of the other ones. So it's that game. And last but not least, one of my favorite games, Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition. This game I played so many hours of, and eventually, because I played so many hours, it includes all of the DLCs. So yeah, put in tons of hours into it. And like I said, I really love this game, but there's a huge drawback to not only this game, but a lot of Bethesda games. Eventually, I got to a point in this game where my game size, my file size, was so huge, the game could not handle it. And I eventually got to the point where I was playing like at the minimum frames per second that the PS3 would even run. Like, it was literally like moving through the world. You were just skipping frames. The frame rate just bottomed out, You could not do anything. The game was literally unplayable, and I had to delete my game save and start from scratch. And I had not yet experienced all of the DLCs at that point, so what I had to do was I had to delete my save, start from scratch so that the game would have a small file size again, and then breeze through the story doing as little as possible so that I could get to the DLCs that I had missed and play through those. And that was not fun. Like, I don't understand why that happens. Like, is the game just too huge? Too many assets? I don't really understand. But I read online that is a huge issue with this game that a lot of people were complaining about, that eventually the game just kind of gives up because the file is so huge. And I really wish that didn't exist. But other than that, that the game literally becomes unplayable, which is kind of a huge thing. Other than that, this is one of the best games I've ever played. The story is incredible. The gameplay is so much fun. I mean, if you've played any Fallout, then you know, like, they're really, really fun games. This was my first Fallout experience. I had never played 3, I'd never played any of the other earlier ones. And so I picked this one up because I heard so much about Fallout. And I had the time of my life. Like, it was the DLCs were so much fun. Old World Blues was definitely my favorite DLC. It was, you go to another planet and it's full of robots and it's just so much fun. Like, you gotta play this game if you haven't already. I don't know if they have ever re-released it for any other console or patched or fixed any of the issues that I was talking about. If they have, then I need to buy that game again and have a copy that I can actually play multiple playthroughs of and everything. But anyway, or play like lots of hours of. But that is gonna do it for my PS3 game collection. I've got 20 games in my video game collection for PS3. It's not a huge collection, but I've got some really, really good games in here that I played hundreds of hours of gameplay with, so definitely got my money's worth. And I will do collections of my PS2, PS3, Switch, all of my other game collections in other videos. I thought that I would start with my PS3 just because it seemed like a good place to start. I really wanted to talk about some of these games in here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Talk to me about your favorite PS3 games, your favorite memories of PS3 games. Comment those down below and we can discuss this console. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you have a great day. Bye bye.